In the intricate landscape of human vulnerability, there exists a silent fortress built from the fragments of betrayed trust, a psychological terrain where happiness becomes a closely guarded treasure, protected with the ferocity of a wounded guardian. Every breath you take carries the weight of past disappointments, every smile a carefully constructed facade that conceals the deep rivers of pain flowing beneath the surface. You move through the world with the precision of a strategist, your emotional landscape mapped with invisible boundaries, where trust is a currency too precious to be carelessly spent. The architecture of your inner world is constructed from the most delicate and resilient materials. Memories of abandoned hopes, moments of unexpected rejection, childhood wounds that have transformed into sophisticated defense mechanisms. Your intelligence becomes a complex filtering system, constantly analyzing potential emotional risks, evaluating every interaction with a microscopic precision that would make even the most careful strategist marvel at its complexity. Each relationship becomes a negotiation, each moment of potential connection a carefully navigated terrain fraught with unseen psychological landmines. The roots of this emotional fortification run deep into the soil of past experiences, drawing nourishment from moments of profound vulnerability that were met with indifference, betrayal, or outright cruelty. Your psychological immune system has developed antibodies against the potential infections of emotional exposure, creating an intricate network of defense mechanisms that operate with the sophistication of a highly advanced security system. Every potential connection is scrutinized, every gesture of intimacy carefully dissected, analyzed for hidden threats that might compromise the delicate ecosystem of your inner world. Childhood memories emerge like ghostly witnesses to your current emotional strategy. The young self, once open and trusting, learned painful lessons about the fragility of emotional safety. Each disappointment, each moment of unexpected pain became a brick in the wall of protection, a carefully placed defense mechanism designed to shield the most tender aspects of your being. The scars of these early experiences are not weaknesses, but sophisticated adaptations, intricate psychological armor that speaks to the extraordinary resilience of the human spirit. Your body becomes a living archive of unshared joys, of carefully preserved moments of potential happiness that never found their way to the surface. Muscle tensions hold the memory of unexpressed emotions. Breath carries the weight of unspoken fears, each cell vibrating with the complex language of emotional protection. The impulses that surge from the depths of your unconscious are coded messages, sophisticated communications between different layers of your being. A nuanced dialogue that negotiates between vulnerability and self-preservation. The impulses that surge from the depths of your unconscious are like encrypted messages, a nuanced dialogue between different layers of being. They speak a language beyond words, negotiating the delicate balance between the desire for connection and the primal instinct of self-preservation. Every unexpressed emotion, every carefully guarded moment of potential vulnerability becomes a source of profound psychological strength. In this profound journey of emotional protection, where trust is a currency more precious than gold, I invite you to acknowledge the profound complexity of your inner world. Like this video if you recognize the intricate dance of emotional survival, share a comment that hints at the moments that shaped your protective strategy, and subscribe to a channel that celebrates the extraordinary resilience of the human psychological landscape. The internal landscape continues its relentless evolution, weaving narratives of survival, of the profound courage it takes to protect oneself in a world that often seems designed to breach the most carefully constructed emotional boundaries. Each breath becomes a testament to the extraordinary power of psychological self-preservation, a silent rebellion against the potentially destructive forces of unguarded vulnerability. The descent into the unconscious becomes an archaeological expedition through the most profound and intricate landscape of emotional survival. Here, in the deepest recesses of psychological terrain, the fragmented self confronts the most complex truths of self-protection. The boundaries between memory and survival instinct dissolve, revealing a landscape where time becomes liquid, where unexpressed vulnerabilities pulse with the intensity of living organisms, consuming the present with their unresolved energies. Memories rise like spectral guardians, their forms distorted by layers of psychological protection, breaking through the carefully constructed walls of emotional defense. Each fragment of identity shatters and reforms, a kaleidoscopic dance of suppressed fears and carefully preserved emotional boundaries. The body becomes a theater of unspoken narratives, muscles holding stories of survival, of dreams carefully guarded in the most intimate spaces of being. The confrontation with the shadow self is a brutal awakening, a moment where the carefully maintained illusion of emotional safety disintegrates. Here, in this internal wilderness, the masks of protection fall away, revealing the raw, unfiltered essence of human vulnerability. The repressed fears emerge like ancient creatures awakening from a long hibernation, their power both terrifying and profoundly liberating. Childhood survival strategies transform from silent whispers to thunderous revelations, demanding acknowledgement, demanding recognition. The suppressed emotional mechanisms begin to recognize their own intricate architecture. The elaborate defense systems that once contained now becoming the very bridges to understanding the deepest layers of self-protection. Each carefully guarded emotional boundary becomes a living entity, breathing with the intensity of unexpressed survival instincts. The internal landscape shifts and breathes, a living ecosystem of psychological complexity. Every unexpressed fear carries the weight of entire universes, unexplored landscapes of emotional survival. The boundaries between what is protected and what has been feared begin to dissolve, creating a liminal space where emotional vulnerability exists in its most pure and powerful form. In this moment of absolute psychological exposure, the distinctions between protection and limitation blur. The unconscious mind reveals itself as a vast, intricate network of connections, where every suppressed emotional response, every carefully constructed defense mechanism carries the potential for profound metamorphosis. The self becomes a fluid concept, constantly negotiating between what is remembered and what is feared, between the visible surface and the infinite depths of human emotional survival. The psychological terrain becomes a battlefield and a sanctuary, where the most intimate struggles of emotional protection play out in silent, profound movements. Each moment of internal confrontation is a revolution, a profound negotiation between the self that has been contained and the self that yearns to understand its own protective mechanisms. The strategies of emotional survival begin to transform, revealing themselves not as impenetrable walls, but as intricate pathways to deeper self-understanding. The depth of human emotional resilience reveals itself in these moments of internal confrontation, a landscape more vast and complex than any external defense could ever represent. Here, in the most intimate spaces of consciousness, the true revolution of emotional survival takes place, far from the noise of external judgment, far from the superficial markers of vulnerability. The unconscious becomes a living archive, a complex museum of survival strategies, where each defense mechanism tells a story of extraordinary psychological adaptation. Every carefully constructed barrier speaks a language of survival, of the profound courage it takes to protect oneself in a world that constantly threatens to breach the most carefully guarded emotional boundaries. The journey of reconstruction emerges from the most delicate spaces of human consciousness, where fragmented emotional strategies slowly reassemble like intricate pieces of a cosmic puzzle. Each moment of healing represents a profound act of rebellion against the limitations that once imprisoned your most authentic emotional self. The invisible guardian, long hidden, long protective, begins to emerge, not as a tentative whisper, but as a powerful symphony of unbreakable spirit and profound emotional intelligence. Your psychological landscape transforms into a sanctuary of understanding, where every carefully guarded emotional boundary becomes the alchemical fire that transmutes silent struggles into profound wisdom. The mechanisms of protection that once contained you now reveal themselves as bridges between your fragmented experiences, connecting the scattered moments of your existence into a coherent narrative of survival and transcendence. Emotional intelligence is no longer a shield but a luminous pathway of self-discovery, illuminating the most intricate corners of your internal universe. The body, once a fortress of emotional protection, becomes a living testament to the extraordinary capacity of human beings to transform survival strategies into profound understanding. The boundaries between past wounds and future possibilities dissolve, revealing a continuous flow of consciousness where every experience contributes to the magnificent complexity of your being. Your emotional intelligence emerges not as a mere defensive mechanism, but as a sophisticated navigation system, guiding you through the most intricate terrains of human vulnerability and connection. In this moment of ultimate revelation, you stand at the threshold of a new understanding, a profound recognition of your own infinite emotional resilience. The shadows that once defined your protective strategies now become the very source of your strength, the hidden resources that have protected and guided you through life's most challenging emotional landscapes. Your journey of self-discovery transcends individual experience, touching the universal human capacity for survival, for transformation, for profound emotional intelligence. The silent battles you've fought, the unspoken moments of emotional protection, become a powerful narrative of human resilience. Each carefully constructed boundary represents a revolutionary act of self-preservation, a testament to the extraordinary power of emotional survival. The world may not have witnessed the depth of your internal struggles, but the complexity of your emotional landscape resonates with a power far beyond external recognition. Your journey speaks to the fundamental human capacity for emotional transformation, for the ability to turn wounds into wisdom, fear into understanding. The intricate defense mechanisms you've developed are not walls of separation, but sophisticated bridges of self-understanding, connecting the fragmented aspects of your emotional being into a unified, powerful whole. Every suppressed fear, every carefully guarded emotional boundary becomes a source of profound strength, a silent revolution happening in the most intimate spaces of your consciousness. The language of emotional survival reveals itself as a profound poetry of human experience, a nuanced dialogue between vulnerability and protection, between the desire for connection and the need for self-preservation. Your emotional intelligence becomes a living testament to the extraordinary complexity of human psychological adaptation, a sophisticated navigation system that speaks a language more profound than words. I invite you now, with the full depth of spiritual and emotional intensity, to embrace your journey of emotional self-discovery. Like this video if you recognize the profound beauty of your protective path, leave a comment that celebrates the unspoken victories of your internal journey, and subscribe to a channel dedicated to illuminating the most profound landscapes of human emotional resilience. Your story is not just a personal narrative, it is a beacon of hope, a testament to the extraordinary resilience of the human spirit, a powerful reminder that the most profound transformations happen in the silent spaces of emotional survival. If something in these words stirred a truth inside you, don't ignore it. Follow the channel and continue this inner journey with me. You were never meant to walk it alone.